Kablamo! The tea is ready. It's Cinn Sparksprocket here again with another episode of Surviving Azeroth. Yeah, I didn't stop doing these. I'm just pausing to think about what exactly next we should be doing. So, I did say in the last videos that I was going to do a video on how to actually change things in your TRP profile and stuff. So, I figured I'm going to do that one, and then I am going to record another video after this shortly that's going to be towards the extended stuff. I feel that even having a TRP profile video is still important to have with the actual extended series, because I mean, you might as well just cover all of these things. I mean, and plus it's like a profile video and it's going to be super helpful for people. So let's go ahead and we'll just get right into it real quick. Hopefully everybody's weekend was good. Mine was solid, pretty good. So let's go ahead and follow the cursor. Here's the cursor. There's my gnome. This is the cursor. That's the T. T is ready. So we're going to do this. We're going to look at these buttons over here. We got total RP panel. You can drag this little boy, move it all the way around, put it wherever you choose. Everybody knows that you get this as soon as you install TRP. There is a way to actually turn this off so you don't accidentally hit anything if you're like doing PvP or anything. It's right here. This is the actual settings thing, and this takes you actually to the other page for settings. The directory. The directory is cool because if you've seen players in game and you want to look at their profile again, you can do this way. It goes off of their name, goes off of their guild, blah 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 blah. We already see that. The settings here, we're gonna go run through them real fast. And we'll look at, heavy profile alert. I believe, what does this do? Let's look at this. Get an alert when your profile size exceeds a reasonable value. This is good to have because what you don't want is you don't want a bunch of errors in your TRP, because then it'll just kind of erase and wipe in a sense. I don't exactly know what defines a heavy profile. Doesn't really matter. I haven't seen it. And there's a lot of people that have a bunch of stuff in their TRP, so it's pretty substantial, I think. So info tooltip text. It's this thing. That's the info tooltip. I believe it comes at default, whatever this is, probably 12. I think that's 12. Standard's 12 for using anything. I haven't changed it, so that's about the default. UI sounds, UI animations, default color picker. Activate to always use the default color picker. Useful if you're using a color picker add-on. That's pretty cool. You can turn that on, turn that off, so that way you can select certain things. Increase color contrast. Enables the option to allow TRP to do this. Reset custom colors, blah, 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 blah. You got chat settings. Disable customizations when OC. You can flick that on. That way when you're OC, you can't really alter anything. When you're IC, you can. Naming method. First name, last name. Remove realm from player names. Please check this, otherwise it just looks weird. It comes default like that, so you might actually not even have to check that. Show player icons, OC indicator, custom colors for names. Absolutely, because we love customization. Emote detection, no yelled emote. Do not show emotes or emotes in yelling. You shouldn't check that because sometimes, like, if you want to emote sounds for certain items or certain actions that are going on, like, for instance, if Cinn uses the shovel shooter, I have an emote already for that where it's just this loud bang and it's through yell because it's really loud, and then there's like the whoosh and the hum of the shovel actually flying through the air, and then it crashes and hits whatever it's supposed to hit. It's pretty cool. Emote detection pattern. Little asterisks. A lot of this stuff comes default, already easy to use. I haven't changed a whole lot of things. Oh look, I got a friend. Oh, it's a shaman. Oh yeah, we're actually in the Mechagon like starting quest building. This is actually a really cool building. OC detection pattern is the parenthesis. OC color is gray. A lot of this is basically just default. There's no reason to change a lot of it. It's just standard. Looks really nice. So units, weight unit, pounds. We don't use metric because we're in America, but you can switch it to metric. Metric is kind of cool as well. See, bam, boom, boom, boom. Potatoes. You can even do potatoes. Look at this. How many potatoes do you think the shovel shooter's worth? Millions. Local sounds, local playback method, playback automatically. Play local musics. Local music playback method asks permission. When people actually put songs into their profiles, that will ask permission whether or not you want it to play. Playback maximum range, 100, 200. Standard is 100. Register settings. Some of this stuff is pretty important. Some of this stuff you can kind of cheat with. Gonna go ahead and just break that out real fast. Filter mature profiles, you don't want that checked. You want to see some of what defines a mature profile. Plus, it's actually interesting to see what is considered a flaggable profile as mature. You can flag people's profiles as like mature, or that you just don't want to see it or whatever. It doesn't. It's kind of like a child safety lock. Let's be honest. We're on a game. We all pay for it. Just it doesn't matter. Just read it anyway. It's gonna be hilarious if you do. Just go for it. Mature filter strength, blah, 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 custom dictionary, reset. That's like parental shit. So this is where I'm talking about these things that get kind of cheaty. Location settings. Enable character location. Disable location when OC. Disable location when in war mode. Show players in different war mode. This stuff right here, you can kind of god mod with a little bit. And I'll tell you why. If you're hunting someone, and they have this checked, you can do this little number. You can go to your map. You can hit this scan button here. Scan for roleplay. Click it. This will show you who has that location thing enabled, and it's going to ping on your map in the area you're looking who's around. Gets really detailed as well. Boom. For instance, we got Telerian Grey Meadow right there. We've got Zella. We've got Ariadne. We've got a bunch of people. Bodmal. Oh, Bodmal is right there. She's a guildie. We've got Rurik, all these people. It shows you whatever is enabled. Now, when you look at the settings of this, you can disable your location when you're OC. So when this is checked, they cannot actually scan for your profile. I leave that checked. I always leave my character location checked anyway, just because why not? Some people kind of want to come find you in RP. That's fine. There is just certain things you do want to avoid if you're, playing like a bounty hunter. That's obviously... I mean, how are you going to RP, and how are you going to explain when you just randomly roll up on somebody who's not even in a major city and nobody even told you where they were? That's where I'm saying it gets a little... Kandrov! There he is. I'm OC. He should know that. He's just looking at stuff. I might actually chat him up here in a second. Yeah, I'll do that real quick. Recording, buddy boy! See ya shortly. I can do that. Makes it fun. So, the show players in different war mode, it will actually turn that on and show you who's in war mode at the moment on your realm. It won't give you their name, at least from what I've looked at and checked, which isn't really that big of a deal, I guess. You can still see where they're at. Cursor interactions, right click to open, disable, frame settings, show frame. That's the currently frame. If you have the currently frame and extended installed, the currently frame is beautiful. This is the currently frame. Change it and put, whatever you want to put. You can put, oh, looks really down, looks really happy, things like that. It's kind of an at a glance on top of the at a glances, and we'll get into the at a glances. This thing's pretty cool. Our guild, when we do our events, we leave our hit points listed in our currently. I'm 10 out of 10. I'm full health. It's an easy way to see who's injured. Blah, 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 blah. You get that point. We don't use Dice Master. One of these days, maybe I will cover a Dice Master video, because Dice Master would be pretty cool if we get the guild to use it, but the role system we have is perfect. It doesn't really have any problems. At first glance, bar, map scan, that's the bottom left, hide when no scans available. You can check that. It's just no point. I think that's kind of a useless feature. It doesn't really matter. The button's like in the very far left anyway. I mean, how are you going to accidentally hit it? But... we'll just keep moving on with that. At first glance bar, target frame. If I were to target myself, these at a glances right here, we'll cover these in a sec. And they're anchored to that bar. You can change where they're at. This, I believe, is the ID for that frame, TRP3 _target frame. Lock the bar, reset position, use the TRP2 style positions. Not really sure about what that is. I never used TRP2. Might be actually good for me to look at. You got a whole bunch of stuff. AFK, do not disturb, IC. A lot of these things come preloaded. You don't really have to mess with a whole lot of these things. TRP3 is kind of a plug and go. We're just going over some of these things in case you do want to change. Hide when out of character, hide during combat, show custom colors, crop unreasonably long texts. Let's read the tooltip on that. Limit the number of characters that can be displayed by each field in the tooltip to prevent unreasonably long text and possible layout issues. Kind of a good thing to have checked. Just leave it. It comes checked. Makes things look pretty. A lot of people don't even realize that some of this stuff comes default and you can actually change it.
but they make their profile according to that. So there's really no reason to uncheck it or to even mess with it because everybody's kind of conformed to what the actual system is by default, which is nice. Advanced settings, NPC talk detection, blah, 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 blah. Not going to cover a whole lot of this unless people want me to. This is the module status. You can see the error around startup. Blah, blah, blah. LVY actually has I believe it's compatible with this to where like it sits on your UI in a nice way. I don't use LVY. Some people I think do. If they do, good on you. I just could not get it to work, and I got too used to LUI, even though the updates are kind of slow. So let's go ahead and we'll just move into actual profile stuff. I'll close that real quick. Let's go follow the cursor again. We're gonna look at these buttons. Player, normal. This is the AFK button. That flags you as AFK. It actually does it in game too. So that puts you back to normal. This is the do not disturb. I probably should have hit that. Gandrov would have probably seen it, but I don't really care. Makes it for some fun, interesting times. So in character, this button right here. I feel a lot of people that roam Stormwind, or anybody in general, including myself, sometimes we don't hit this button. So we don't know if somebody's really in character or out of character. Plus it just looks really weird when you look over at somebody and it says OOC. You don't really know if they're really ready to RP or not. They'll just be like, and then there's some people that just leave that on and they RP and then you just don't know. Just hit the button. Makes it easy. That's the easy way to say you're IC or you're OOC. This is the drop system. This covers extended. We will actually talk about caches and crafting items and certain things like that eventually in another video. The video I have for extended today is going to be about inner objects, and it's going to start leading into crafting and variables. It's going to be a pretty cool item. I have a pretty cool item in my head that I'm going to try and build, which is going to be awesome. So we'll go ahead and flick out of character again. Sounds history. This lists all like the music tracks or the themes or the sounds you heard, which is cool. The extended objects database, you already know about. We've covered that. NPC speeches. If you have extended and you have some sort of pet, for instance, I have Charlotte. Where's Charlotte at? Come here, Charlotte. There's Charlotte. Charlotte is a near sentient mechanospider. So a lot of times I use NPC speeches to dictate what she says. Let's look at what we can do here. We got say. We've got that where you put the name. That way you can see that. You can leave this blank and you can actually just put certain things. I will show you how that works. It's kind of an easy way to do narration for emotes as well, which is really fancy. There is a different way to do that as well, but I usually use this because it's fast and it's easy. So we got say, whisper, yell, blah, 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 blah. The whisper is kind of a broken one. I believe you have to target somebody for that to work. Not really, let's not jack with that. Yell works the same way. Say is basically like saying something in common or whatever. Emote is pretty cool. Let's do this. I'll just show you how this works, and you'll look over here at the chat box. You know. Let's do a standard thing. I spelled that. I think I spell efficiency wrong all the time, but you know, I don't care because I'm not fixing it. Everybody knows what I'm saying. So you hit that send button. This does have a character limit. Kind of sucks that it has a character limit, but you can do emotes in a different way. I believe it's with the bracket. And that's how you can use listener or your extra emote add-on for that. So we'll look over here. But it looks pretty cool. Looks exactly like a standard emote does. The recent change to TRP and to the game as a whole for 8.2.5 and all that, whenever your character actually emotes and speaks, for all the paragraph RPers, it looks white. It didn't used to look like that. The text does, which is nice. You put the quotations in there, and that's pretty cool. I like that for busting up the parrot. You can disable that in TRP3. I believe it's under the chat settings. And we are not going to jack with it because I actually don't know how to do that. And I'm not changing it because I really like it. I'll have to actually figure that out. I'll figure that out before the next video or something. We'll see. So we'll go back, and this is what we're going to do today while we have another 15 minutes left for this 30-minute video. I'm going to sit here and run through creating just a test profile. Just so that way everybody can see what all the features do in the profile editor. I felt like that was pretty easy way to do this. Hopefully that was kind of informative on a lot of the settings and a lot of the things you can do with TRP3. Actually, the one thing I didn't cover was this. This little TRP3 button that hangs around on your minimap. All your add-ons kind of have a button, which is wonderful. You right-click that, and it makes the TRP panel go away. I have mine right here. That's pretty handy, because you can right-click that and just leave it if you don't want to see it. Right-click brings it right back. Very fancy. On to the fun stuff. Let's go ahead. I have a bunch of profiles. I actually probably shouldn't be showing this, because everybody's going to be like, oh my god, you play all those characters? I don't really care at this point. That'll be fine. So we'll do this. We'll hit this create profile button. You go right here to the little chalice quest log, buddy boy, hit that. This is campaigns. Eventually we'll talk about campaigns. We're not covering that. This is inventory. This is actually pretty cool. Oh, Serena made that for me. That's cool. We'll have to cover the inventory eventually too. Totally forgot about that. Sweet. That's my profile. I will probably not cover that. I'll just show you how to make one, and then I'll compare it to my actual one. So let's go ahead and we'll hit this create profile button. We can name it. We'll call it the test boy. And then we will go and through your entire profile page. You might have a few because every account and everything has a bunch of different things. For people that have alts, this is where you can manage a lot of your different TRP profiles, which is cool. Very cool. This is where you can do the renamings, the duplicatings, the deletings. This arrow, a lot of these things are starting to get very simple and streamlined, so I'm not going to go too into detail of them. Imports and exports. This is very akin to the extended item upload, where you can take it out and put it into a notepad file, and you can put it right back into TRP in case you get wiped. Then you have your profile already saved, and then you're totally set. You just paste it right there. Make sure it's a notepad, otherwise it doesn't work right. Then you just hit import and it'll upload everything and it's going to be beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and click that. Now that's going to change from Cinn's profile to the test boy profile. As you can see, my currently frame, empty. If I click myself, there is nothing here. There is absolutely nothing. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually add some stuff to this test boy profile. It's going to be cool. At default, when you hit this little pane right here at the added glances, or you go here and you do this, it's going to bring you to the same page. Starting a new profile on any character, you're going to have just this blank canvas. Looks a little intimidating. My advice, before you sit down and do this, know what your character's going to do. Makes this so much easier. So much easier. Give me 1 second. Gotta pause for a juice break. What do I actually... Oh, I ran out of juice. Dang it! 1 sec, though. Alright, let's keep going here. So, we have names and titles, characteristics, blah, 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 blah. Very bland. It's bland. It's boring. It's not fun. We don't want this. We want really cool profile. So we're going to hit this little bad boy. This is where you start editing all of your stuff. Now, for the sake of arguing, we're going to change Cinn for right now. It's not going to stick. It's just my test profile. We're going to do the one and only... Actually, no, we're not. We're going to do the legend. That is a title. That's the title page, first name, last name, full title, directory information, blah, 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 blah. I'll cover these as we're going along. You can actually hover over some of these tooltips and they'll tell you exactly what they do. Your character's title is the title by which your character is usually called. Avoid long titles. As for those, you should use the full title attributed below. Example of appropriate titles: Countess, Marquis, Magus, Lord, etc. Yeah, everybody knows how titles work. That's where you put your title. Very fancy. Example of appropriate titles: Countess of the North Marshes, Magus of the Stormwind Tower, Diplomat for the Draenei government. Yeah, they're kind of long. I like how TRP is actually like telling people with these helpful tooltips, like, don't put too many characters. I love that. It's great. Good job, TRP. You can. I've seen people do it. It's not that big of a deal. We're going to put the legend for that. Why not? And then we're going to put Cinn Sparksprocket. Why not? This right here, perfect. This is all you need. You can put quotations here. A lot of your characters and stuff actually work very akin to what you're doing. I'm actually going to mark myself D&D because I think somebody's actually about to run up here in RP. But I'm here first. That's what's happening. So we've got this already set, you know, Cinn Sparksprocket, the full title. This is where people get kind of creative. I will go ahead and say right now, with TRP3, the special characters and the alt and numeric commands on the numpad, they work in TRP3. They work. It's fully, you can use it. Bam. Totally good. All of them. There's a big old list on Wowhead, I believe, of all the special characters you can do. Fancy little E's, fancy little I's, the crosses, infinity symbols, hourglasses. There's a bunch of special characters. Pretty freaking cool. Big fan of that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do something simple because I'm just trying to show off how this works. The one and only legend of all things here and there. Bam. Why not? Now let's hit save real quick. Always, 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 always hit save. Because if you don't, you might lose a bunch of progress on the things you just put in. TRP3 will actually prompt you to save if you change panels, which is beautiful. I'll actually show you how to do that. I'll show you how that works too. So now we're going to do this. I'll just hover over my character in a sense. The legend, Cinn Sparksprocket. The one and only legend of all things here and there. Gnome Hunter, the Shadows of House of Stewards. We'll talk about how you can show your guild and whatever. It's not going to work. It's not going to work too crazy here. You'll see how that is. We'll hit edit again. We'll keep going. We have race. Now you can hit the tooltips and read a lot of this stuff. That's what's very nice about TRP is the tooltips are exceptionally helpful in this stuff. Here goes your character's race. It doesn't have to be restricted to playable races. There are many Warcraft races that can assume common shapes. Blah, 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 blah. That's basically saying continuity, keep it in your back pocket, but just remember you can't get too freaking nuts. So let's just say Omega Gnome. Why not? Because we can get silly with it. I'm just showing you how this works. Omega Gnome, let's put Tinker because that's the best class. Tinker Master Race. Character's custom class. A lot of people use the custom class for pretty cool stuff. Race is actually pretty cool. You'll see how these things look, and like instantly you can tell when you're seeing certain things. So we'll have that. This is the class color. Put it as yeller. This is that sweet color wheel. I love the color wheel. We can go black, yellow, black and yellow. There's a song about this somewhere. So we'll hit that. We'll go to age, infinite. Why not? I spelled that wrong as well. Infinite, because why not? The universe. These are all residences. What's cool about residences and birthplaces is that you can actually put coordinates for like where your residence is exactly. Gets a little god moddy though, because if somebody's actually trying to hunt you down, they can just see your profile and boom, here's the coordinates, exactly where your shit's at. But you still can do it, which I think is pretty awesome. Makes out for a very detailed, fleshy profile. Still love it. RP community needs to know. Don't just freaking read this and go, oh cool, right on, I know where they're at. Eye color. The void. Why not? Because we're just showing off how these things work. Black. Birthplace. Hell, question marks. Why not, right? We'll read the tooltips as we're going along. Indicate the birthplace of your character. Region, zone, continent. It's up to you to decide how accurate you want to be. Exactly. It's up to you to put whatever you want. Making a very detailed profile, you don't have to get very cookie cutter about it. You can actually set up a lot of mysticism for your character in just TRP alone. People are going to look and say, oh, well, they don't really have a birthplace. Blah, blah, blah. They're still going to have to ask you about it. I mean, they're not. You really shouldn't use TRP to just tell your entire character's life story. It's not really worth it. Not going to really discuss how you should and shouldn't RP. But this is just to define what your character looks like and certain things that they'll see on you. Height. It's a gnome. I have that for my actual. I actually have that for my actual height. And I actually has this. I actually has this as well for yeah. I has this. Yeah, great language me. I have this for both of my. It's a gnome relationship status. It's a gnome. I'm widowed, cause why not? We can put that. You can put all sorts of things. You can even put do not show. That way nobody knows. Additional information. This stuff's pretty cool. Really like this stuff. House name. You can put your house name and stuff. Some people usually put their house name in their title. It doesn't really matter. You can RP however you choose, but people will be able to see this if you put this house name. Stewards. Actually, nah, just for my old boy's sake. Why not? We'll put that for his face. Badass. Let's do it. We're gonna get silly just to show you how these things. Nickname, you can change all of these things. You can change the portrait, That's what it looks like. You can put certain custom things in there with additional information. That way people don't have to really go to your about. If you want people to see certain things without having to go to your about, additional information really helps with that. You can change the picture to every sort of thing. Let's just do that real quick. We'll change that to that. I don't know why we're changing it to that, but it doesn't matter. You can. The whole point of this is that you can get super friggin' detailed with it. It's really, really awesome. We can keep going with this. Physiognomy, pretty sure that's like I think that's a defining body. I'm gonna have to actually look that word up. That's a big word. Piercings, tattoos, obviously. Create new. Creates an exactly new one of these things. That way you can put whatever you choose. God factor. Why not? Let's put that. I'm really just fluffing myself, but at this point it's just, you know, I want to show it off and make sure that everybody knows what you're getting whenever you install this. Infinite. Yeah, good job, me. Good typos. For God factor of infinite, I really have some typos, don't I? But, so, you kind of see where that additional information gets pretty crazy. It's really cool. So, personality traits. This is where you can kind of define how your character is going to RP, sort of. People will look at this, they will read this, and they will go, oh, well, your character is exceptionally lawful. I kind of want to hang out with them. Or, if they're on the other side of the spectrum, oh, your character is exceptionally chaotic. I really want to hang out with them. Or, your character is exceptionally in the middle, and you don't really know where that character is going to go. Totally up to you to define how your character is. Like I said, make sure you define what you're going to do with that character, what they want, before you really set this up. It gets very easy at that point to set these things up. So, the ERP factor. I'm just kidding. Actually, delete that one. But you can use that. Chase, lustful, forgiving, vindictive, altruistic, selfish. There's a bunch of these here. The personal traits, renegade, paragon, all of that stuff. Cautious, aesthetic, bon vivant, valorous, spineless. You can really define your character. These are almost at a glances for how your character plays as far as RP is concerned. Pretty good idea to stick to what you put here, because otherwise people are just going to go, what? Custom traits. You can do create custom traits. Let's just, you know, do another one. Why not? Because we can. Boom. We can totally do that. Now, I'm not going to add anything else anymore into this. This is just a test profile. But this is what you're going to start to see as soon as you add more stuff in here. We have the name, the title. I'm going to actually show you how that title works. Testing. Busy since Spark Sprocket. Testing. You can reword some of these things. For instance, one of our guildies, he's actually a Duke. He doesn't have a title. He puts Duke right here, and he has Dreadmore in the last name, and it reads just exactly like that. It reads, instead of, since it's Duke Dreadmore. It's pretty cool. You actually know what his title is. Really cool guy. Like that guy. So we'll keep going with that. Now I'm going to show you that save thing. Warning. You may have unsaved data. Do you want to save? Do you want to change the page anyway? Yes, all changes will be lost. Hit cancel. Hit save. Then go to about. Saves your butt. Several times. This is the about portion. This portion I think is probably one of the hardest things to fill out in the entire TRP, because this is where you get really detailed. This is where you can write, like, you know, paragraph on paragraph of like, oh, I've got a mole exactly right here. I've got hairs that stick this, and this way. And I got like 3 left feet and all that. This is where you get really detailed with that. Don't do it in the at a glances. Don't do it in your characteristics. I mean, if somebody's walking around with 2 left feet, I'm gonna notice. I'm gonna see it. I should be able to see that. Shouldn't just be this like random thing. Unless you're wearing shoes, because then you really can't tell. But if you're wearing sandals, I should be able to see that. So we'll hit this edit thing. Now we've got music theme. You can obviously pick a theme. There are a bunch of music themes. This goes off of the actual in-game audio. Darnassus intro, Darnassus walking, blah blah blah, Drew Grove, Royer Tears, Nomergon. I'll hit that, why not? And what we do is we'll leave that as that. I'll show you how this looks at the end. So this right here is the background editor, templates, formatting tools. Very nice. Very, very nice. These are the header buttons. They make your text really big if you use these. I'm actually going to show you how it looks. I'm going to show you exactly just what you should be doing really right here. Don't really use your headers for doing I do, which is kind of a dumb thing on my part. But I also write short abouts because I don't really feel the incessant need to go into super big detail, which is still nice, but some people just don't like me. So we'll do this. The one and only is here and present in the past, future, and in all things. Why not? We can put it like that, right? Now you see it like that. Bland, boring, lame. Text comes default yellow. You can change that. Let me show you how to do that. We'll actually make it super big right here. This is a header. You can keep reusing these even though it says you only have 3. You can reuse them. It just skirts them down a little bit into that. So what we'll do is you can change where they start. Left, right, center, right, cancel. I usually do center. Your text here. The brackets on each side define for TRP like where the spacing and where it's supposed to be placed. It's all their inner code. You don't really have to get too much into that. So all shall fall before me. So we got that. Let's look at that. Boom. Really, really large. Centers it in the page. Very, very cool. Now, you might want to change your background. You never know. Doesn't look that great. So, we got all these backgrounds right here. I don't know if you can add custom ones in. There might be in like the mod folders. I don't really know if you should do that because you don't want to clutter up your TRP. I'm pretty sure you probably could do it though, unless something has a background and make it in format. So you got all these cool backgrounds. We'll put, where's my favorite one? Where's my favorite one? There it is. Yes. Dragon. Big old friggin' dragon. Putting that. Now we're actually gonna make a note about that dragon because we can. I don't want to do that right there. Actually, I made a boo boo. There we go. Don't delete your brackets. Make sure that you always leave it bracketed on the end where you want to break stuff up. We'll do that real quick. So we got this. Your text here. Breaks up. This is the second header. Hitting these buttons, doing all this. This is the paragraph. That does images, icons, colors, links. Let's do this. Let's hit this color boy. Make a red dragon. Why not? Boom. Now that changes the color. You can add this color thing into these brackets. You can add this color thing throughout the entire page, no matter what. Doesn't really matter. You can do that, though. Totally works. Woo. Big old dragon right there. Boom. Let's look at it. Header 2 apparently gets really small, which is nice. So header 3 is going to be actually somewhat small, and that's where you can actually center your text. Big fan of that. It's really good to play around with a lot of these features too, just to see what looks right and all that. Let's hit this play button. I can't really hear the music, even though I have that on there. That's why I don't really have like themes, like in-game themes for my characters. I just leave the music disabled. I'm probably a bad person for it. I think the only time I do turn the music on is when penguin sledding is a daily, because that's actually the best music. Anyone else can debate that with me. It's not going to work though, because that just is the best music. Let's stop. That button is just for the music start and stop and all that. You can see kind of how the formatting and stuff goes. But you're thinking, man, this is still kind of boring. I want to break these things up, make it look a little different. You got these sweet templates right here. This is just the basic template. You know, you can go to this one. You got this little thing, and it's a giant box. And you can keep adding frames to this. You can change the icon of this frame, you know. You can do all this sort of things. You can get really modular. You can change the background for a lot of these things. It's pretty friggin' sweet, you know. We'll go right here. We'll just keep adding random stuff. Hit that save button again. Boom. Godliness, cleanliness. Boom. Look at that. Still leaves this ultimate background in here, but you can break these modules up in a sense like this. And this goes to the right side. It's really cool. I like the second template. I use the third template for Cinn because it actually does physical description, personality traits, and history. I don't think I actually have a whole lot of history in Cinn's TRP, but people can do that. It still makes for an interesting read. It's just when you're RPing, you should know that you don't know their whole history. You just met this person at times. So you can't just walk up and be like, oh, sweet, that was really cool. You were at Anderhall. It's like, dude, they don't even know you. But not going to tell you how to RP. That's just me. So we're going to go back to this template 1. We're going to save it. I'm going to leave it as that. Why not? It's just a test boy. That's just how you see things. Now, this right here, I feel is the most underused, and the most friggin' sweet thing you can have on your TRP. I don't know how many people actually read these, but they are friggin' cool. These are what's supposed to grab attention, at least in my opinion. Just my opinion. These are your at-a-glances. This is your currently IC thing that goes down to this frame. For instance, if I type something right here, you know, doing a video. Yes. It updates in my currently frame. Totally worth it. Big thing. Love that thing. Other information, OOC. I will fill that out here in a moment. We're going to do a test at a glance for you. You can even hover over the tooltip and it'll tell you what to do. At a first glance is a set of slots you can use to define important information about this character. You can use these actions on these slots. Click to configure, double click, toggle slot activation, right click slot presets, drag and drop will reorder them. Totally easily customizable at a glance. So let's just go ahead and I've already clicked it and opened it up. We're going to see what these do. This little button right here, that activates it. That will show it on your profile. You can deactivate it if you don't have something like that. I use at glances to describe like certain attributes that my character would give off in just like a very first meeting. So Cinn, for instance, has this high-pitched voice, as some gnomes do. Most gnomes do, I think. I put that in there. Kind of a lame use of an at-a-glance, but it is still kind of there. I also use the other at-a-glances for items that your character is carrying at the time. My monk has a lute and a flute. Those are all my at-a-glances. Cinn has her backpack. That is an at-a-glance. Cinn has all sorts of things that are her at-a-glances. I will actually look at that and show you, like, just what you can do. And just, you know, how things really look when you actually get really in detail and start playing with stuff. So let's do this glance. Immortal? Question mark? Let's move the cursor, I can't even see. We'll leave the question mark. This gnome may be immortal. Or at least she thinks she is. Bam! Put that. People aren't really going to see or know that that's obviously a thing, but just as a test, you know, we were just doing it that. You can look, I have myself targeted. You can see people's at-a-glances right here. Immortal, question mark, it comes just like that. Now if I go over here, uncheck it, hit apply, no longer can see it. It's gone. Nobody knows. Nobody knows I may be immortal or not. Hit that again, boom. For instance, this is how I would view a good at-a-glance. This is, I believe, Cinn's, or very close to Cinn's. That pretty much is like, in my opinion, what you really need to do for an at-a-glance. You don't have to get super detailed. That's not the point of at-a-glances. The point of at-a-glances is for people to look at these and go, oh, they're wearing a backpack. What does it kind of look like? You know, goes into detail. I use at-a-glances at times to actually talk about people, like what's going on, like, you know, like why do they have certain things, or what is that, blah, 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 blah. It's a really good RP tool. Really actually helps when you keep your at-a-glances somewhat short and brief and somewhat mystical. You know, nobody knows what's in the backpack. Somebody might ask, hey, what's in the backpack? You get that. But that's how you edit the at-a-glances. You get 5 of them. Go wild. I love at-a-glances. I read at-a-glances all the time. I don't know if people really do, but I do. And that's what matters. I love at-a-glances. Other information, OOC. This is typically what you'll see. Other people that put OOP, that have OOC. Put that. Walk-ups, welcome. Targeting equals looking. A lot of people that RP, they already know a lot of what these things are. TRP is a work in progress, so that way new stuff might be coming. I'm never going to use this again. I'm just showing you exactly what it looks like. Walk-ups, welcome. Targeting equals looking. Some people aren't really welcome to walk-ups. Targeting equals looking. That way you can just see where the character is shifting their focus. And then some people usually put like multi-para, mimic, or mirror RP. All themes welcome. OOC is like just to describe like, you know, what you actually will do or what you're going to be okay with. Some people don't really like multi-para, some people mirror, doesn't really matter. That is just how you define like, hey, this is you. What do you like as the player of that character? Big thing. So, roleplay style, you can change these things. In character frequency, you can put most of the time. You can put full time, no OOC, mid time, casual, full time OOC, not an RP character. Do not show. You don't have to put any of these things. Except character injuries with player permission. You're never going to be able to kill Cinn. Except character death with player permission. Character romance. No. She's the one and only. She's infinite. You don't want to marry her. Roleplay battle resolution, PvP, TRP role battle, emote battle, do not show. These things are really nice to know as for like how the player will actually interact with you. And you can put those things depending on what you may do or what you don't do. See, I'll even hover over the tooltip. You can indicate something important about you, anything out of your character. Here you can indicate something important about your character. That's the currently frame, like what's your character doing, how do they look, how do they feel, blah. You can see all that. That really covers the gist of TRP and all that. The notes panel, you can fill out notes. You can make little things about other things. You can make notes on other people's things, but it's only on your side. That way, in case you forget like somebody and they're like, oh, don't you remember me? And if you did a note, you can look back and go, oh, I totally met you in installment, blah. It's basically a freehand note page. Totally worth it. Totally awesome. So let's go ahead and we'll just overlook at this profile. You know, we'll click this real quick. The legends in Spark Rocket, the one and only legend of all things here and there, Omega Gnome Tinker, Shadows House of Stewards. I actually need to show you how to do the guild stuff. Go back to that real quick. Guild membership. Do not show. Your guild will still show. You can actually remove that in TRP settings. Just leave it, because you never know. Doesn't really matter. Guild membership. IC member, like you are a part of the House of Stewards. OOC member, you're just somebody along for the ride doing raids. Doesn't really matter. You can define that. Or you put do not show. It comes default do not show. You don't have to worry about that. So we'll go ahead and exit that. We'll go ahead and look at this again. You can see that. Welcome's welcome, targeting looking, multi-para minor, At a glances. Character theme. That will start the character theme in the currently frame and all that. In the target frame, actually. Notes. Opens up your bland note page. You can fill out all kinds of notes. Yes. Why not? And then we'll go back to here. And when you click this on another character, this is where you can review all of that other stuff. He's going to love that. That's going to be funny if he actually watches this. So you can. This is where you can actually see all that stuff. This is, I don't think you can actually see this page if you're looking at another character. Not really sure. I might be crazy. So I'm going to go back. I'll just go back to my profile and I'll show you, you know, this is just the test. That was just the one just to show you how, like, a lot of these features work. Where is my page? There we are. Bam. So, we'll just run through mine real quick. No. We'll just click that, actually. Boom. See my title, Cinn Sparks Sprocket, Sneak Thief, Order Lucky Dudes, but you see, you can kind of see how a lot of this stuff gets filled out. These are kind of simple things to do as well that people are like, oh, I just don't know what to do or how to do it, you know. Little things help. It helps flesh it out. You don't have to sit there and do it all in one time. It gets really boring if you do it, honestly. I think the one thing I don't really like is inputting my character into TRP, but after it's done, I feel pretty good about it. I just like the RP sense and not really uploading all of this. As far as like in the TRP stuff. So, you know, you go to the about. Mine is the third template. Where is the template 3 in the editor of the abouts? Where I have my background back there, it's gray, and then there's this red one. And And I'm not going into too much detail on these things because you can actually come find me and read that stuff if you want. So, yeah, my bat, the tooth bat, Maxac, fan of knives, the Omni tool, hell yeah. But that's basically what I got for covering TRP stuff. If you guys would like me to cover anything else specific as far as the profile, I can. You can get really super crazy with it. I mean, you can add images. There's all these pre-uploaded images from the World of Warcraft stuff, and TRP has a few of their own as well in there. You know, you can do icons, you can do colors again, links. People link tumblers, people link art. That's how you get that to work. But I think that really covers it for actually like doing a profile in TRP. You know, go wild, sky's the limit. I think a lot of people just needed to see how the profile editor actually works. So I hope this was informative. Leave me some comments if you are a little confused or you need me to cover something else again. It might have been a little rushed. I think I probably took a little too much time in the settings. But yeah, I hope it was good. And expect the second video coming soon about inner objects and getting into crafting and variables with the extended things. Thanks, guys, and y'all have a good one, okay?